Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're here to talk about our favorite video games, and this includes video games from the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, any video games that we want to talk about. And as always, I have here with me Ramon,
Hey guys.
Sylvia,
Hello.
and Ro.
Howdy, howdy.
I expect this episode to be a long one, man. So there's not gonna be any talk about what we've been watching. We're gonna get straight to it. So I hope you guys made your list and you guys are ready to talk about video
Sure.
games in
Yeah.
general.
I wrote down everything that I watched the last week, though.
I did too, actually. I wrote it all down on the
No, I'm
side
kidding.
of my
Okay,
screen.
well, Sylvia, if your list includes Game of Thrones, we'll make some time for you at the end.
Okay. I am. And House of Dragon, so.
There you
Oh.
go.
Yeah.
Okay, see?
Yeah.
Raul's face.
Well, let's Ramon, I think you're gonna be very ready to start this episode. Let's start with you, man. Let's talk about video games. Start us
Yeah.
off, man.
I mean, I've been waiting for this episode for the longest, right? And I thought it was gonna be an episode about one video game in specific, which is so hard to do, and then kind of go off of that. So it's just even harder than I thought. But no. I mean, like, what I like about this is that, for me, it's talking about like what's been doing it for me, like what I still make time to play every night randomly, like at 1 a.m, 2 a.m. I don't care. Like, I'm always trying to get in there at least a little bit, at least a couple times a week. And then there's the history of like what video games got us started and which ones got us obsessed and which ones got us broken up with. But either way, though, see, you had to think about it, but true story. True story. But no, I mean, I'm really excited about this episode. I want to start off with the fact that like right now I've been playing a lot of like battle royales. It sounds kind of cheesy and a little bit, I guess, in my age, but in a sense, I love battle royales just because it's something so quick to just jump into, do for an hour or two, and then just kind of, that's it. Turn off your Xbox, turn off your PC, whatever you're playing on, and you don't have to worry about it. Then there's the games that I'm sure we'll spend plenty of time talking about, like Zelda, just Elden Ring, anything like that just kind of like I like to get submersed into, like play for hours on a time, and then kind of just have that involved experience. So I don't know, I'm excited to see kind of how everybody gets going and what we want to start with actually talking about.
No, dude, yeah, like when I was thinking about what I would bring to the table, definitely thought about games that I could probably count on you not playing them, Ramon, or Euro, or possibly even you, Sylvia. So I'm very excited to talk about like my selection of games and you guys to understand the reason why I picked those games to be some of the greatest that I've ever played. But Sylvia, like what about you? What kind of games are you willing to talk about today?
So honestly, I had a slightly interesting relationship with games. When I first started gaming, I guess per se, for lack of a better term, it was obviously the N64 and the Xbox. I grew up on those systems, and then the Game Boy, obviously. But then once I kind of got to like the 3DS, I think I was over in high school and I didn't game for the longest time. I think it was only my last year of college that I actually picked up a computer, built it, and then started gaming again. So I had like a good maybe 7-8 years where I wasn't playing anything, and then I got more into like FPSs. That's when I finally picked up Elden Ring and some of those other games that everyone grew up with. But I just didn't know anything about them because I hadn't gamed in such a long time. I was so used to just the Pokemons, the Harvest Moons, or Story of Seasons, like more of those cozy games. And then I kind of branched out to more of those shooters, those strategy games, those story-based games, those RPGs. So I'm interested to kind of see where everyone falls in the genre of gaming here.
You just reminded me, but later on, I'm gonna go on a rant about, specifically because yesterday I was trying to play the new Elden Ring DSL, like I was ready to buy it, but there's a reason why I didn't buy it. I'm gonna talk about that because I'm fucking pissed why I didn't buy it. But
I mean, I haven't bought it, so I'm sure.
Ro, tell us your relationship with video games and growing up in the 80s.
Growing up in the 80s. Well, I was born in the 80s. No. So here's kind of the thing with me that like, so my stepdad, which I pretty much grew up with, he was a big gamer. So like we had two separate Ataris, and then we had NES, Super Nintendo with a ton of games. We had a 64, we had a PS1, PS2. So like I kind of went through. My cousin had Dreamcast. Dude, we haven't had a Jaguar, which was Atari's disc console that I've never met anyone else that's ever played it. So yeah, like I kind of grew up and kind of spent all of my teens playing video games, and even when I lived with Ramon, I played like a ton of Call of Duty, and those and Guitar Hero, Rock Band, even DJ Hero, and then stuff like that. And then I had my son, and then like pretty much video games disappeared completely.
Yeah.
And then just periodically I would play like Madden or something like that, and then he got old enough, and then I kind of like I think Elden Ring was the first video game that I bought besides Madden in like years, and then I kind of just picked up from there, played Overwatch with you guys a few times, and play kind of different things. So, but yeah, like I'm really more into the history of video games, the older systems.
You know, it's funny thinking about it. I think for the most part, I have owned a console from every, Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, and lately Xbox has been the one that's been more in my household. I got a Nintendo Switch. I've always gotten like the portable ones, like the 3D, which I thought was amazing. The technology that you could play a game and see it in 3D without wearing glasses. I still think that's amazing. I think I have it in the back right there, pinned against my wall. But I was just gonna say, like, I feel like, for my next generation console, like, I might have to break up with Xbox, man. Again, it goes into that whole rant, but I just feel like
I don't think they're making any more, though. I think they're stopping making Xbox. Yeah.
Don't be that guy. You're trying to break up with them before they break up with you. Type of thing.
Yeah, well, that. I mean, I don't. If that's the way they go, I don't. I don't blame them, because I think PlayStation just dominated this past like console war. But we'll see. I think they still have a little bit of fight in them, so I'm not ready to completely write them off.
No, and I think in the talk of consoles, that's something cool too, because like I have a similar story to like, I mean, I guess Sylvia and Raul. I mean, I don't know. Like I stopped playing. Video games weren't always a thing for me. So when I think about video games in my future, it's a little weird, because like had a console since like freaking 89 or something, and then maybe around like after high school I didn't play for the longest, and it was just like either through ex-girlfriends or school. Like it's just I never made time for it. So even with these guys and other people that I was growing up with, like I stopped playing Smash Brothers like on a daily or like on a average amount of time, and like all these games. And then it was around COVID time that brought me back. And that's when I started being like, I need an Xbox. I need a second Xbox. I need the new Switch. And it just, it gets like that. But then, now with like my daughter coming in, I'm excited for that. And I just know realistically for me, when you say future consoles, I'm like, man, we'll wait. I'll have to wait a few years before I even say it like that. That cannot come out of my mouth right now.
Mobile games.
Mobile.
Yeah.
My Switch, I mean, but that's different.
It's funny because I'm looking at my wall and I'm like, I own 4 Xbox 360s. So
yeah,
like,
you
I have them like pinned against my wall. So yeah.
Wow.
See, I could have been playing Xbox.
360 was my first Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, let's start talking specifically about maybe what games you really want to highlight as the fact that like, hey, these for some reason still are the ones that I think about when I think about like my gaming experience. Sylvia, if you want to start us off, like which game do you love, or do you want to talk about a highlight so we can get an understanding of like your personality?
From the very beginning, I wouldn't say this is a highlight, but I would say this is one that no matter what, I'm always going to buy a game from them, because now it's just nostalgia. And everyone can make fun of me for this, but you have Animal Crossing, and then there is Harvest Moon, which is now called Story of Seasons. I believe the individuals that created Harvest Moon and Natsume got in an argument, so there is a Harvest Moon, but it's not the Harvest Moon that I played. That Harvest Moon is now called Story of Seasons.
Okay.
And that's like a farming simulator for the most part. So think like Stardew, but a little bit less. Go ahead.
And if anybody has played Smash Brothers, that's what the character Ness comes from Harvest Moon.
Yes. Yep. So those are the games I kind of started out with on the GameCube. I don't remember the N64 too much, except for like Pokemon Snap. And I think there was like a Mickey Mouse game that I really liked as well. But for the most part, those are the 2 games that I remember. So whenever there was a game that came out that was either Animal Crossing or it was Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons, I immediately just buy it. Even to this day on my Switch, I immediately buy it just because it's cozy.
Did you buy that last Animal Crossing on the Switch that came out?
I did, yep. And I even got the I even got the
Yeah.
designer or whatever. It came out in the perfect time. It was
Perfect
COVID.
time.
Everyone
Perfect
needed
time.
like a cozy game where you don't have to think about it. It was just nice and cute, and you could go to other people's islands. It was the best time they could have possibly made that come out.
That whole
Kombat.
tulip stock market really made it like
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was just a
Yeah.
bad thing to do.
I mean, I think with that game, I even for like I said, you maybe have a little bit more history with it, but I think a lot of people did get into it during COVID times. Like
Mhm.
I know me for myself, like I bought it for my sister, I bought it for my brother, so we can all individually play in our own households because we
Yeah, and
couldn't
then
see
go
each
over
other.
islands. Yeah.
Yeah, go over islands. We would get on FaceTime, and we would kind of just like take a little tour. And of course, none of us were
Mhm.
veteran freaking Animal Crossers.
Oh, I
So,
designed my island so well.
you know what? If you
Yeah.
maybe look at mine now that I abandoned a bunch of years ago, like it was okay. It was definitely 5
Mhm.
stars. I wouldn't say impressive, but it was definitely had a lot of like cool things in it. But I mean, that's the thing that I loved about it. So I can't imagine
Yeah.
what your island looks like already being like dead and
Ooh.
You walk in and there's already waterfalls coming down. You're just
Oh.
walking through
Tell
the
me more.
forest. Yeah.
we should plan a visit to each other's islands because like mine's very Neo Tokyo looking.
Yeah,
So like
oh,
I
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
like to like show it off.
I remember yours,
Okay.
Carlos. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
See,
But obviously we went to each other's homes.
yeah. I mean, and that's kind of like those games. You're right. Like that's why people love them, just because they do give you a sense of comfort
Mhm.
with just doing nothing but chores and then picking out
Mhm.
like wallpapers and decorations. And
It's so mindless.
yeah.
But I think it's been replayed so many times, and I wanted to bring up a couple newer games that came out that are kind of from the same idea as those farming simulators and Animal Crossing, but they're a little bit different with newer ideas. So the two newer ones that I wanted to bring up was Coral Island, which is like more of a kind of you move to an island type of thing. So it's kind of like Harvest Moon, where you move into a farm that's kind of like within the forest, like Stardew as well. But this one's on an island. So you're also trying to get rid of any type of, how do I say without spoiling the game? You're trying to also clean up the island and make sure that it's kind of getting better and you're able to grow different types of crops or animals, things like that. And then you have a brand new one at this point, and I forget the name of it completely.
It's a Stardew Valley.
Not Stardew Valley. It's a brand new one. I actually have it saved over here. It was called, I don't know why Sunnyside. Brand new Sunnyside. You move into Japan, like a countryside in Japan, and you have a phone. It's not like the old type of dynamics where you have like a watering can, you have like a whole hose. Like it's very modern-esque, and you're texting people, you're able to get around by like car, train, things like that. So it's very different. It's brand new, and I've been enjoying it. I haven't played it as much. There are other games that I've been enjoying more so, but I like the new spin that they're bringing on these like cozy farming simulators.
That's cool. There was recently, they just announced that it's going to be like a Pocket Monster farming game that's going to come out in the future. And I didn't see a trailer for it, but I'm like, that one kind of intrigued me, the idea of like farming monsters. So I'm like, okay, that's very like Power World. Is that what that one's called?
Yeah, Power World. Yeah.
I spent so much time on that.
So like,
me too. Just to quit it. Just to be like, I'm done with you.
All of a sudden, yeah.
Sylvia,
it hasn't fully come out though, so you never know. It could come out with more
the
things.
Beta,
yeah,
the preview.
Mm-hmm.
Sylvia, did you ever play the World Ends With You on the 3DS?
No, I haven't.
Okay, no. Just it's a random one that not a lot of people have played, but it's one that's I really love. It's by Square Enix. Is that what it's called? It's a company that does Final Fantasy. Yeah.
Enix. Yeah.
What's it about?
Oh my god, I'll show you an image on my phone in a bit, but it's just like I think if you see the artwork, you might recognize it. Yeah. Ramon, what about you, man? I think you're gonna talk about the one that I really obviously love a lot. It's the whole generation loves. You want to talk about what games? No.
Donkey Kong. No, I'm kidding.
Donkey Kong. Yeah.
I'm kidding. I mean, no, it's tough, and you probably know that. Obviously, I would talk about Zelda. I mean, oh yeah, you know what? That awesome game. I remember so much. No, I'm just kidding. That's the worst game ever. But no, yeah. I mean, for me, my pick obviously was gonna be Zelda, and it's not necessarily because of just like being obsessed with it, but it truly became like the one game that I would always dedicate my like life to. Once I was at the point of working or doing anything, I would literally take 2 weeks off to play any like Zelda game, right? And I mean more of like the bigger. I didn't really play too many of the Game Boy ones, but everything since like the first Zelda, even though it came out in the 80s, I probably played it like in the early 90s. And then from there on, it was always little by little. And then with these like newer games, also just became like such a big part of my life, not just because I loved them, but then with my wife, like she comes from a big Zelda family where her dad plays Zelda, her brother plays Zelda, she plays Zelda. And so I just remember like when I first started like, dating her and just getting more involved in her like family household, I fell in love with that family just for that reason, because I could sit and watch someone play that game, and I can also play the same thing right away and just play it for hours. And I don't know, like there's just so much to it. Like, once if you guys want to talk about it more, like there's definitely games that are like my favorite, games that I hate a little bit less, characters that I love. But I think in general for Zelda, for me, it's always been about that whole like that like story, the legendary story of like a hero, right? And the fact that it's more about the Triforce and the interconnection between like Zelda, Ganondorf, and Link. Like I love that, because any game, it's not just about Link, it's not just about Zelda, it's also about Ganondorf, and it's about them three together, except for Majora's Mask. But yeah, just I think in general, like it's just one of those that I obsess over them. Like I have to play it, I have to pass it as soon as I can, and then I go back and do stuff, especially with the newer games, right? So much to do. Can't say that I go for 100% completion, but I freaking play it, so I just can't anymore. So.
No, I'm like you, Ramon. Like obviously, like I have the same obsession as Zelda as you, because when we were young, how many times did I probably beat the Ocarina of Time? How many times did I play Majora's Mask? How many? I probably travel anytime my parents went on a trip, whether it was like, hey, let's drive to this city, or I was always with my Game Boy playing like Link's Awakening. So I do have like this obsession with Zelda, even though I haven't played some of the more recent ones. I think the last one that I beat and play was Breath of the Wild. And I do want to go back on my catalog and just kind of finish some of these older ones, because again, I do have an obsession with Zelda. Like I own so many Zelda things. Obviously, I named my daughter after Zelda. I have a Zelda tattoo. So I do have to step up a little bit more and make time so that I can beat these games. So that way I can say like, yeah, like I can talk to anybody, not just about the Zelda games that I grew up with, but also about some of these modern ones, because that's a franchise that never sort of lets you down, and you can always expect a great story. The Wind Waker, that one to me is still one that like the ending of the Wind Waker, it's like amazing. The game itself, I don't think there's ever been a Zelda. I mean, Breath of the Wild is pretty unique, but I think the Wind Waker, I still think that one itself is so unique in such a little pocket on its own, just because you have a Zelda game where you're kind of just navigating the seas and going from island to island. And it's I don't know, man. It's just it's Toon Link is what I'm gonna call him, because I think that's what you call him in Smash Bros. It's just such a cool little just a cool version of Link.
Yeah, and what I like about that game is, you can always jump into it whenever. Like my brother and his girlfriend, like a couple years ago, started playing all the games in back sequential order. So they played them in reverse, and then literally it was like they would pass the most recent, which at that time was I think Skyward Sword, and then from there it was going backwards. And they always would talk to me about it, and they would like even to like the Ocarina of Time, playing it now, they were like, it's still good, it's still fun. And I think those are like the best type of games, because you can recommend it to someone, can maybe tell them, it'll be shitty graphics for like the older ones, but it's not like shitty graphics, it's just outdated graphics,
And I think the Wind Waker was the one that put the idea about being different reincarnations of the same people over and over. And I think that's the one that probably set up that mythos about like, oh yeah, these are just the same people, just in a different era, just being reincarnated over and over. So I think that's like the one to set up that idea.
That's a little crazy. It's a little crazy, man. I don't know. I keep talking about Zelda, but let's Raul talk, and we'll come back to Zelda.
Yeah.
What is this Zelda? No, I played a ton of it. Like, or I played more of the 64 Zeldas than any other ones. Like, I still haven't played any other ones on Switch, but I haven't owned any Nintendo systems since the 64, except for the Switch now that my son has. But I never play it.
And that sucks, because you being a big D&D guy, you would love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
I know.
It is.
But I don't like. I'm kind of weird now with like
Elden
the big
Ring.
open world games.
You played Elden Ring,
but I like 25 hours of Elden Ring. I never finished it.
I mean, I think the game that was recently came out, one game of the year, is Baldur's Gate Row, and that one's sort of, I think, one that you would probably end up loving the most if you actually gave it a chance.
Yeah, but I don't have a series. I would play it, but I don't have a series, and I'm not going to buy a series just for
that game. Yeah,
play Baldur's Gate. But I do like I've seen my sister's boyfriend play Baldur's Gate because
It's fun.
he'll bring his series over. Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's
I was gonna
D&D.
say,
It's a D&D game. So.
I don't think I've gotten past the second act, maybe even the first act, because I just keep recreating different characters and making
really?
different choices to see what happens. It's so entertaining just to kind of keep going. So
Yeah,
I haven't gotten far.
Everything I hear about Baldur's Gate, it sounds amazing to me. That's why I
Mhm.
hope that one day I can play it, just because the idea of like, oh hey, instead of fighting that boss, let's drink him to death by challenge him to a drinking game, or
Or you
let's
sneak up on him, or you put like a bunch of just like oil or gas next to them and blow it up, and you go,
It's
ooh,
just-
swell.
yeah.
Oh, for all the
That's what D&D is.
for all the psychopaths out there. Wow. Okay. Great.
You turn into a cat and you scratch them with a poisonous scratch. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That
sounds
is
really
D&D.
great. Yeah. But Raul, I mean, you're yourself. Don't sell yourself short. 'Cause I mean, you game today, and you've always sort of, I rocked with you Guitar Hero back in the day. Like, you even had the DJ one.
DJ Hero, yeah. No, dude, I've gone through a lot of different phases in my life, and I think it's kind of, I guess you can kind of say that I've gone through like stages, and each stage marks a different point in my life, because obviously back in the day I played a ton of Super Nintendo, like even like Crash Dummies and the like X-Men games, like Ninja games, a bunch of stuff.
Yes.
Obviously all the Marios from back in the day, and then in 64 there was one game that I obsessed over. I could play even now. I could play it now, but nobody knows about it. It's called Ogre Battle 64. It's
I'll look it up right now.
pretty much like fantasy time, like you have knights and Valkyries and all that stuff, and the battle system is a little bit kind of like Final Fantasy.
I've seen the box, the artwork of the box. I just never played it.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I obsessively played this game back in like my middle school days, and I could play for hours, like probably 12 hours straight, and then like I beat her a few times, and I just loved it. And then that's the only version of that game I've ever heard of, and the only time I've never heard of any sequels, reboots, or
Oh no.
Oh
We
no!
lost Raul. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So for me, the one franchise that I kind of wanted to highlight that I really enjoyed, I didn't play it at the time when the games were coming out. Eventually, they released the collection edition, which had the first game and the second game. But the ones that I really thought were really impactful and were really good games were Bioshock games. I don't know if you guys have played any of the Bioshocks, but
I've heard of them.
yeah, the first one, it's one that I guess when you like think about like some of the best plot twists in video games, like the first one is one that's always like on top of the list. And I guess knowing the plot twist was kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to play it. And just the whole idea behind it. That there's this town that's underwater, it's called Rapture, and something went horribly wrong. And when you go to Rapture, it's just like it gives you this incredible looking world. There's these little girls where, big daddies is what they're called, they're protecting them. But you can either have a choice of like killing the little girls so you can gain more powers, or liberating them. I believe that's what it was. But I almost even want to spoil to you guys what the twist is for that game, because again, that game's been out for almost 15 years. But
Yeah.
in the beginning of the game, your plane crashes in the middle of the ocean, and that's how you find Rapture. So then when you reach the end of the game, you find out that you're the one that caused the plane to crash, because you actually were born in Rapture, and you were brainwashed to, once you hear a certain set of words, you lose control, and you sort of are kind of like Winter Soldier style. You do something horribly because you were sort of set up to do this. So yeah, so then you find out at the end of towards the end of the game, that you were actually the one responsible for bringing the plane down specifically in that spot. So it's just a really great game. The second one's, it's all right. The second one's not the greatest, but the one that I really love out of all of them is Bioshock Infinite, and that's the one that I still think about till today. The character Elizabeth, the main character, the storyline to that game, the world of that game. Instead of being under the sea, Sylvia, this time you're up in the skies, and it's a whole like very like capitalism sort of world where it's just you have like George Washington machines like shooting at you, and Abraham Lincoln robots also shooting at you, and then there's a giant flying bird, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just such an incredible world that if they did a like an HD remake of it today, like I would have to buy that game just because I love that game, and I've been looking for any excuse for me to like jump back in that world because I really loved it. And Ramon, I think I definitely pushed for you to play Infinite because again, I just I thought it was a very impactful game. So I don't know if you almost want to back me up on that or not.
I mean, no, 100%. Like, you know, and it's funny because Bioshock is like a known name and you hear it, but it's like, again, I wasn't playing when those games were coming out. So yeah, Carlos, like in my journey of like having an Xbox again, I'm like, oh, what game should I play? And yeah, Carlos mentioned Bioshock Infinite. I got it because it was like really cheap, like $15. Like, it's not an expensive game anymore. And yeah, like I fell in love with it. It's very like, again, it's you get you're up in the sky. It's very patriotic, kind of like colonial times, but it's very steampunk. Also floating islands in the air. So like it's weird, right? Because like you do have your animatronic, like Abraham Lincoln's, your George Washington's, and I fell in love with those dudes because like if you never thought of something creepier,
like Futurama.
Yeah, but crazier. And I have a figure, but it's just too far away to like reach.
I wish you
but
did.
Yeah. I'll grab it maybe with someone else is talking. But yeah, like, you know, George Washington will have like flags, and he's like very like carrying turrets, and he's like, I don't know, it's just a whole point of like playing the game just makes you feel like kind of like you like, I don't know, like you reminisce in a time that you weren't even there for. But then the story is crazy, like Carlos said, it involves giant birds and then that girl Elizabeth, and just the story alone, once it gets like kind of culty, then you know it's a good game because you're like, what the hell, like there's a cult.
And that one also has like a great plot twist that I won't ruin because it's even so crazy for me to even try to explain what the plot twist of that game is. But even that one itself, like when you reach the end, you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is crazy.
Everyone's in the Matrix.
But I thought that studio itself, I believe, went bankrupt, doesn't no longer exist. But I think somehow they're trying to either bring a new game into it because either somebody has bought the rights or maybe the creator of that studio has kind of started another studio. But like, I do hope that the Bioshock franchise can continue because I think they were some of the most amazing games that I've ever played.
Yeah, I mean, I so love playing games like that people definitely like refer, and it's like an older game or something like that, because again, doesn't mean just because it's old that, you know, it's no longer good. And if anything, yeah, for like the future of like new games coming out, I feel like that game like probably gave a lot of ideas to these games that are out now. Because
yeah,
I mean,
I've seen copies
Bioshock,
of it. Yeah. I've seen other games that are trying to like copy to be similar to it, but it's like they can't really recreate what made those special.
No, but that's what's great about some of these games too. Like everything comes or is influenced from something else, and then, you know, like I said, Raul with his Mario because he's wearing a T-shirt of Mario. But it's like Mario Brothers was probably one of those games that became super iconic because, you know, however it happened and it came out. Then after that is this, you know, it became more about like the family fun, the dynamic, and it became like a whole thing. And then for that reason, then, you know, Nintendo revolved a lot of its like creativity in games around that era, that like, oh yeah, we want to make games that are fun, family oriented. And then yeah, they keep kind of not recycling the game, but it was really exciting recently to know that they're coming out with the Mario and Luigi game, and it's like they don't stop making them. And yeah, like I mean, what was the one with the hat? It was the Odyssey.
Oh yeah,
Mario
Odyssey. I'm playing it right now with my daughters.
That's the last one I played. But believe me, like I wish I could play more. My brother's always like, "Hey, play Paper Mario or play Mario Sunshine."
Yeah,
and they look great. Again, that's when I got to be like, well, really.
Super Mario Wonder was even nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, Wonder too. And then, but either if you're not playing it, it's just still great to know that they're making them. And yeah, like I said, at any time you can go back and be like, oh, still relatable, still good. And
they just did an HD remake of Paper Mario. I think that's the one your brother's trying to get you to play. Yeah. And I guess that one's like beloved by like the people that grew up playing it back in 2002. So it's just it's a game that I almost want to play just because people just will not stop raving about how great the storyline for that game is.
Yeah.
If there's one thing about go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say, and you still have like the Smash Brothers and Mario Kart 2 and kind of like the spin-off
Mario Party,
like different
Mario
games.
Party,
all of them. If there's one thing Nintendo does right, it's always remastering games. That's kind of what I wanted to say, because no matter what the game is, I feel like they do a really good job at least keeping the essence of what it was from the very beginning to all those new graphics and all of the new visuals and everything. They do keep it pretty true to what it was before. And I like how back in the day they had Mario, and then they had Sonic as well. But instead of having those two compete, they did, I think it was Mario and Sonic Olympics. And there was a whole game for that too. So they kind of would put their games together as well.
Let me ask you though something, Sylvia, because yeah, like I guess in a way it is kind of nice that some of your beloved games are getting a little bit more graphics upgrades, so they look better and you can play them again. But do you think at the end of the day it's just a cash grab? Like how many times do I have to be sold the same copy of the same game in different years just because you made it prettier and now it looks better, just so that I can
I think
continue to
Mario
like.
Party is really the only one that's like that from the Mario franchises.
No, but I mean, like they keep remaking. Like they just remade like Metroid Prime. They remade
Yeah.
Paper
I
Mario's
think
one.
I don't get upset with it because they're not necessarily remastering it for us. They're remastering it for the newer generation in the graphics and in the artwork that they appreciate more. Because I'll see the remastered games and I'll play them, but I
Yeah.
also don't love them as much as I loved the original because I don't like the graphics that much. I liked when it was a little bit more dingy and dark and a little bit more thrillery versus like the cutesy things that they're creating now. So I think they're not remastering it for us to want to play it. They're remastering it for like our kids to play it and for us to relive it with them as opposed to going back in our childhood kind of thing.
No, and I totally get that, and I do agree with that. I just wish some of them would take more of the less of the remake, like less of the HD, like let's put it out there again, more of the like Final Fantasy VII. That's a big franchise that they're not just giving you the same game. They're like, hey, we're gonna give you the same story, but we're gonna change things. We're gonna make it look great. We're actually gonna invest money into it, and it's almost like feels like a completely different game than whatever you played back in 2005 or whenever that game came out. So it's just like I do wish some of them would say like, hey, that game was great, but let's not make an HD version of Ocarina of Time. Let's actually make it how we could make it today in 2024. Like that's what I want.
See,
if they do touch it.
Yeah, that is
Like a
difficult. Yeah, I mean that is difficult. Like the whole idea of like perhaps a reboot. Like I like that idea because it gives you a whole brand new game to play, like you're saying. But then, yeah, of course, who wouldn't love to play the Ocarina of Time like remastered, beautiful, like maybe like some just high end, like all that stuff would be great. But no, I mean, like I heard this like rant about like the new Zelda game coming out, the Echoes of Wisdom, where like you get to play as Zelda, right?
Yeah.
And then some kid was like, "Why can't you just make a new game? Like, why couldn't we have Zelda where you play as Sheik, that you're basically running around, you're doing ninja stuff, and it's like
and
more
you don't know
dark."
that she's not gonna turn into
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is that he was complaining that it's a different type of game. The graphics are more like the Game Boy style, like what is it called? The not the scroller, but anyways, I suck with all those video game terms. But yeah, that it was like more of a simple game like Link's Awakening, and not that it wasn't going to be like Tears of the Kingdom graphics. But to me, I don't mind it because what Nintendo's really doing is they're buying time for the next big one, and that's okay. Like I'm gonna play the next one anyways. I'm gonna play this new one either way. So like,
and the Zelda franchise has always been where they've had the console versions, and they've always had like a Game Boy version, whether it's the train one or the one with the elements or the leaves.
Oh, there's so
whatever.
many to finish.
So there's like so many of the ones that are like specifically for like Game Boys. Now it's just because we have the Switch, and Nintendo's not gonna waste money making a 3DS version too when the Switch itself sort of became that. So it's just kind of like, yeah, I think these kids are complaining because they just don't understand the fact that they've always done this.
They gotta distract people. Like you're gonna want like consumerism is always gonna be a thing, and there's certain people that are always gonna wait for the bigger like stories. But at the same time, again, it's like for those people that love it and truly have the time to game all the time, like they want all of it. Like they don't care. Like again, I'm gonna play that one, the new one too. And then if they come out with the same version but like better, then I'll play that too. Because I mean, it's a matter of time. But yeah, no, I think it's I get what you're saying, Carlos. But yeah, sometimes it is pretty cool when you get something like rebooted. And I don't know how many games we've gotten like that, but that's I think why I love like battle royales and games that have battle passes for some reason, because seasons to me always feel like a refresher of the same game, and it's not the same, but close enough.
And like the My Hero game that we were playing for.
That for like what?
I had
for a
fun
month
with that game. I just wish it was like it was better. Yeah, I might get back into it one day again. But I don't know if we're I don't know if we're trying to avoid like, I'm not gonna say like they're trashy games, but are we gonna talk about any like shooters? Because I think most of the time,
dude, I played a ton of
that's
shooters.
The majority of my time is always gonna like shooter games. Like honestly, that's like as much as I love these like storytelling games, like shooter games have wasted so much of my time in my life.
Well, and you guys were there from like the beginning with like Halo and all those games. Well, I mean GoldenEye, I guess before
Even
that,
Perfect
because like
Dark. I mean,
yeah,
Perfect Dark,
GoldenEye, Perfect
GoldenEye.
Dark, which were like copies of each other, like so
Or even
similar.
Doom.
Yeah, oh Doom, but yeah, but that's even before them. But I mean, like I think
Yeah.
since like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, and then just kind of went crazy, and then you got those games like Halo and everything else afterwards. But yeah, I don't play enough of those to be like, oh, like again, I just stick to what I like. And
But you play
then unless
Fortnite itself is a
Well,
shooter,
Fortnite-
so it's just
well, I
Overwatch.
know, I'm saying, but it's like I still think like those games to me.
And Halo, you
well,
played the last Halo. Like I got you a little bit involved with that one.
yeah, and I enjoy them, but it's like and that's the thing. Why I didn't start by saying the games that I love are like Overwatch and Fortnite, and it's gonna be Zelda. It's not Overwatch and Fortnite. Fortnite and Overwatch are games that I love, but the reason why they're different is because to me they've always been more of like a friend, a social type of thing. Like I didn't get into battle royales and first person shooters until it was like beforehand, obviously GoldenEye and all that good stuff. But then around the pandemic as well, it was like the only way that we used to hang out, and we would like play often because you would sit there and you would be playing like Fortnite, or we would playing Apex Legends, or like a little bit of Overwatch that I did with you guys before it changed into Overwatch 2. And now it's kind of the same way, right? Like Fortnite's still very relevant in my life. I still put money into it. It's not because I play it every day. It's because I freaking love it, right? And then, but at the same time, I play maybe like once every 2 weeks when my cousins, my brother, like anyone gets on. Overwatch is the one that I have an obsessive, compulsive, like kind of problem with, because I'll lay down in bed and it's like midnight and I'm like, it's too early, Overwatch, because I know I can go down there and play like 3 games within half an hour and knock a few in an hour, and it just feels good. So yeah, those just like evolved for me, at least what they mean.
And I mean, I told you my problem with Overwatch is the fact that I played Overwatch when it came out. I put maybe 120, 180 hours into that game. But then when they decided to do Overwatch 2, and it was just the same crap all over, like the same crap, just a paint job. Like, and not even like a good paint job, just like a shitty ass paint job at the same game itself. I'm like, well, Ramon, like I wish that you would have been playing this with me back in 2014 or whenever it first came out, because I was obsessed with Overwatch. So I understand why you're obsessed with it, because it is a fucking great game. It is very obsessive with all the characters and all the things that they can do. It's just the fact that I sort of outgrew Overwatch, and it's okay if you haven't. And I'm hoping that one day they will make a true sequel to it so that I can kind of get back on it. But just right now, it's just I think the way they're gonna go with it is just gonna they're just gonna keep adding characters to it. And I kind of don't like that about it, because again, it just feels like the same version of the game that I was playing in 2014.
Yeah, they won't. And that's a game that I can talk a lot about, because again, I do play it almost on a daily. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, the appeal to me, it's that, like, right. I think for any other game that I play, if I'm playing alone, it's about my experience, it's about my own personal like progress. But I think with Overwatch, it forces me to do the whole like team like work, right? And I love playing, like I'm one of those that, because I'm doing a battle pass, I will play selecting all roles. So I play whatever, tank, shooter, like, healer or support. And I just love the whole vibe of like, oh, if I get stuck being tank this like game, like fuck, let's go, pressure, let's go. And then you just get like really hyped. And if you're playing support, chill, help people out, kill some people. And it's just, I don't know. I think this is that fact that every single game is something different for me and so quick. I think that's just why I'm just like obsessed with it. And I just play so much.
Sylvia, when you play online, because Ramon, I know you play Overwatch and it's non-ranked, and that's the thing about me. Like if I'm really playing a shooter game, it has to be ranked, or there's just it doesn't mean anything to me. Like without rank,
no stakes.
I'm wasting my time playing the game. So it always has to be ranked, because I'm always like, that's where I get the obsessive casino personality that I have to keep playing and keep winning. Even Brawl Stars right now, like I've been playing it because I'm trying to rank up and go up the higher tier list. So it's just like without the ranking, like a game doesn't mean as much to me. So like, are you that kind of person, or are you just playing for the fun of it?
It depends. So if I'm having a good day, I'm playing ranked. And I'm not leaving until I get multiple wins, and I just have green. But if it's a bad day, then yeah, of course. I'll do unranked. I do Valorant more so I'll go Swift Blaze. I'll do just like death matches. I'll do something simple that I know I'm probably going to finish it within like half an hour or so, versus a rated game, which will probably sometimes takes like 2 hours, because you're really grinding and you need to win. So it's both sides are tied, and you just keep playing. So I tried to get into Overwatch. I can't do it. That's the only game that brings out my competitive. No, I get so competitive because I don't understand it fully.
That's the same thing. And I have to apologize on this to Ramon, because Ramon's actually somebody that like I know, and like I can actually be like, Ramon, you need to do this or do that, and and I hate it, and I hate
Do you
myself after.
backseat?
Oh no, the Carlos is bad. I mean, I'm not gonna talk about it like make it sound like it's
And I'm bad with Overwatch, but I think one of my other friends sort of made me bad in that way when it comes to Overwatch. But like any other game, like I think I'm more like just kind of like there to play.
Apex.
No, I mean
Apex.
sure.
Okay, no, but again, it's not trash talking. It's actually I think it's kind of funny, right? Because that's the different types of gamers you have, right? You have the people that are going to be a little more toxic. They're going to be super into it. They're going to play freaking Warzone and all this stuff and just be like, oh, I'm so good at this. If you suck, like, then I don't want you part of my team. I don't even want to play with you. Carlos is not like that. Carlos just wants us to win. I get it. Yeah. You know, I play games.
But I also like to drop hot, and that's a problem of mine.
And I play with other people like that, and it doesn't bother me. It's just for me alone, I'm the complete opposite. I'm more of like, let's drink, let's smoke, and let's just fucking chill. Even if I am like if I am trying to get like the battle royale, even if I am trying to win the game, but it just comes from the fact that for me it's just more chill. Again, that rank stuff. For me, when Carlos is like, oh, let's play ranked, I'm like, why? But it doesn't come from not wanting to play it. It comes from like, I don't need the pressure. Like, it's just, again, if I was playing all the time and I was like, dude, this is my life, then 100% rank more. But it's tough. It's tough.
I think with me, it's more like you're playing with better players on ranks. It's almost like I want to improve myself, not because I know that I'm gonna get on rank and like start beating everybody. It's like, no, I like the fact that I lose because then like that tells me that like I'm just not as good as I think it is, and I think that's why I don't play fighting games, which is I don't know if any of you will talk about it, especially now that the Marvel vs. Capcom collection has been announced, but I don't play fighting games online because I'll always get my ass whooped. There's not one fighting game where I can go online that I just like somebody in China won't be like fucking killing me with like a bunch of combo moves. So like that's why I stay away from fighting games online.
It's always a 12-year-old,
Yo, those are difficult too, and it's like Mortal Kombat 11 was probably the last one that I played like for hours and hours and hours and hours, right? And then when I realized like
Injustice
I think
too.
and just as I started, but it's like so. With Mortal Kombat, I played the story. I always love playing those games for the story. Like even there was like a Power Rangers like Off the Grid or something Into the Grid fighting game too that I played just for the story. Like I love fighting games for the story. Then I'll play a little bit. Now that they have like cosmetics and things that that award you, I played it for that. Mortal Kombat, my Scorpion like main character was like all decked out. He looked good, man. He looked like freaking Rengoku, his little flame like kimono type thing. Anyways, but and then when I stopped playing it, when I saw that my brother-in-law Miguel had his freaking profile like public so that you can play with his character. So like you basically versus his AI, like his computer.
That's cool.
Oh wow.
Except for I've been playing for hours for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and I played his fucking bots and just demolished me. And I'm like, you know what? Peace out, Girl Scout. Come on. But no, not in a terrible way. It just reminds you that sometimes when people play enough, like Carlos said, it's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult to like stand. It's a matter of time for those games. What you put in.
No, I think
I remember Mortal Kombat from the N64. That was my. Now that you brought it up, that's where I started playing that, and I loved it. Sindel.
Super
there
Nintendo.
You go.
Was it from 64 or Super Nintendo? Because I know in Super Nintendo that's when like Mortal Kombat like 2 and 3 were really popular.
One of the two. I thought it was 64 because I remember plopping that.
I think she said she started with 64. I don't think you didn't have a console before then, or like
I don't even remember a Mortal Kombat for 64. I mean, there could have been. I just don't. I do not remember.
There probably was.
It was Super Nintendo, and then 64 might have had like 10. Not 10. Like 4. Like I think 3 or 4.
Obviously, me.
Mortal Kombat 4. Yeah.
4.
Okay, because me and Ramon, like, we grew up with the second and third, and like we were like really obsessed with Mortal Kombat.
Arcades as well.
Yeah.
I mean, we spent a lot of time in arcades, like, and I mean even before then, but like especially when I moved to Aurora and I was kind of like closer to people like Carlos, but specifically like that, like how many times did we go to different arcades and these games that we just played even at home, we still go and play the same game in an arcade, and it's just that's how you just love some of these things. Like who cares if you lose every other time? Oh, Rampage, yes. Except for the movie sucked, but whatever.
It had the Rock in it.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, I kind of came in here prepared to highlight some of the games that, like, again, made an impact on me. One of the collections or the trilogy that I wanted to talk about real quick, and I don't know if any of you have played this. Ramon, I definitely know you have not played this one, but it's the Mass Effect games. Any of you?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay, so
I've seen it. I just never played him.
Tell us why we should.
Well, the Mass Effect games themselves, I think when you Baldur's Gate, I think, when you look back, Mass Effect was one of the first games where, like, I think it did implement this whole idea of, like, hey, you can romanticize any character that you want, whether it's a female, male, alien, whatever you want. And there's always, like, this whole, like, hey, you're going to talk to them and there's different choices and you're going to build a relationship and you're going to hear them out. But not just that, like, it was just like the world itself was just so big, so amazing. I think the first game, when I first played it, I played 7 hours of it. And for some reason, I tapped out. I'm like, hey, this game is not for me. There's just such a huge world that I just cannot keep up with it. So I tapped out. And I don't know what made me go back to it. Maybe it's a possibility that the second one was coming out, but I went back. And I love myself for going back, even though and I started like a brand new game. I did like a sniping class, and I finished that game, and I really loved it. And the second one sort of improved on everything. The first one wasn't the best, but the second one was just truly a masterpiece. The third one was freaking amazing, even though it became a little bit more. But the third one was a little bit more action packed. But I think Mass Effect is one of those things that, I believe Amazon Prime is making a show about it. Commander Shepard, when I think about like characters that are iconic, I do think Commander Shepard is a very iconic character himself, even though you can modify Commander Shepard to look however you want. But I just the name itself, I think it means something in the gaming world. And one of the coolest things that I ever saw a game do, and this is a big spoiler for Mass Effect 2, because you guys haven't played it, you didn't play the collection. I don't think you guys are gonna play it at all.
No.
But in the second game, you start off the game and Commander Shepard dies within the first like 20 minutes. Like, your character goes down with the spaceship, because this is a game that takes up in space, and so he's dead. And going forward for the remainder of the game, you're playing with a clone of himself that somebody made, and supposedly this clone was made so that it's like the purest form of himself, that the man. So it's like the whole game adds this whole element about, like, everybody talks to him like, hey, this is not you. You died 2 years ago. Like, why should I follow you? And you have to convince them that it's like, you're still the same man. So it kind of like brings up this whole idea of, like, Ramon was to die today, and tomorrow somebody brings me a brand new Ramon. But it's the same personality as the one I talked to yesterday. Did he really die? Because now I'm talking to the same one, the one that knows everything about me, the one that I love. So it's just like, again,
it's like Black Mirror.
So
yeah,
like
Black Mirror episode,
Rick and Morty,
yeah,
Rick and Morty
again,
every day.
Oh yeah,
well, yeah. I mean, like,
yeah.
Again, is this something you don't expect from a game, to kill off your main character?
Yeah,
and a very popular. Like, there was a lot of people wanting the second Mass Effect to come out. When it did, like, yeah, your main character dies within the first 20 minutes. Wow. So
it's kind of like Tomb Raider, and she dies like right away.
Tomb Raider? Which Tomb Raider?
No, I'm saying it's like if it was.
Oh yeah.
And she does.
But yeah, like, I think Mass Effect games. Again, they did the collection. People celebrate November the 7th because that's the big, like, Mass Effect day. Andromeda, which was the last Mass Effect game, didn't do great, but I think they are gonna reboot it and they're bringing up a new one, so hopefully it kind of regains its glory, because I think that game itself was a pure genius. And I play like every downloadable content for that game, which, again, if the game wasn't good, I wouldn't be spending my money buying all this downloadable content. It probably only added like 4 hours of extra gameplay, but just, again, the game was so freaking amazing that he just wanted to, like, be more part of that world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Fallout for me. I think I started with Fallout 3. I didn't finish it. Fallout 4 came out, finished it, loved it, did New Vegas, and then went back to 3, and I did enjoy it. So it's kind of similar, like with you with Mass Effect, where you didn't finish the first one until the second one started coming out. Then you did finish the first one, and then you went to the second one. I had to finish they all have slightly different stories too. So,
but you probably feel good at the fact that you went back and finished it, because now you can kind of like talk about the first one and things that happened in the first one. So yeah,
I haven't played the first or the second Fallout though. I think those were very back in the day.
Yeah, like PC
graphic wise. Yeah, but I know Fallout 3 is everyone's beloved game, and I could see why the graphics were a lot back in the day than 4 and New Vegas are. But it's definitely one of those games where if they were to reboot it, not remaster it, that would be the one that I would want.
No, I think
just the storyline and everything.
Yeah, I think I for sure feel like for the next Fallout, it's gonna be something that I'm gonna be even like curious to play for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially after the show.
Yeah, so successful.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no, I did play a good chunk of New Vegas too, and I
Mhm.
liked it before, but I bought like a used version. So then there was a point where the disc didn't work anymore.
Oh,
Oh.
you couldn't clean it with alcohol or anything?
No, it was like a scratch.
Oh,
So
damn.
there was no way that I was
Yeah.
going to be able to get through that.
Bro,
Mhm.
tell me, why do you love the sport games so much? Because obviously I know it's not just you, but it's just like that's something
No,
that I again just because I didn't play for the longest, and now with these new systems, like
like
I
Madden,
never got
right?
back. Yeah, I never got
I
back
Mhm.
never
into
played
Madden. Never got
Madden.
into like FIFA. Like, but maybe like back in the day when they were still shitty graphics, and then like even back to the day of like Blitz on an
Blitz, yeah.
arcade.
Hell
But like
yeah.
Mhm.
but then now I'm not. I just don't have the time. But I
I
know like
don't.
you and a couple of my cousins love like FIFA, Madden, like all that stuff. Like what does
I,
it for you?
I'll tell you a couple of things about it, and it kind of translates over to the FPSs too, like especially the Call of Duties. So I started with the sports game, well, like besides like the like NBA Jam and or Heat or
Mm.
whatever it's called, besides that stuff, or even the dodgeball game from Super Nintendo. I started probably with the PS1, the World Cup game. I think it was World Cup '96. That was the first like soccer game that I played, and then Madden probably 2005, maybe 2002 was the first like Madden game that I played. And then really the big thing is that the controls always kind of stay the same, so it's easy to catch up to the new ones. But and then with each new game, like obviously there's a brand new one every year, like with the FIFAs, with the Maddens. I even played the UFC games
Oh,
too, because
nice.
I like those. But the controls stay mostly the same. But I
Yeah.
like with the UFC and then some boxing ones that I played back in the day too. Like I liked kind of playing the campaign part of it, where and even now, like in Madden and FIFA, I play the franchise. In FIFA lately, which is the one I've been playing, and actually yesterday I downloaded the EAFC uh 2024 because FIFA and EA kind of like parted ways because they didn't want to pay for the
Yeah, they didn't
licensing.
want to pay the thing.
Yeah. So I downloaded yesterday, so I had because it came on Game Pass Ultimate with the EA Pass. So I haven't started playing it, but I've been playing the 23. And like I created a team. I replaced the Chicago Fire, and I like kind of the whole managing the team part, and then the controls are the same,
Yeah, that was,
and like I'm pretty good. And then the cool thing about especially the sports games like Madden and FIFA is that like I could randomly pick up and like play against one of my friends at their PlayStation, their Xbox. The controls are exactly the same, and because I've played so much in the last like 20 years, that like I'm actually not bad at it, so I can kind of play online with against somebody and do okay. It's kind of like same thing as Call of Duty. Like the controls are exactly the same.
yeah.
So like as good as I was, even though I might be a little bit slower now, and I might not know the maps, like I'll still be okay. Like in Call of Duty, like in Overwatch, I suck ass. So I'm sorry that I played with
It's
you guys
okay.
and you
No,
guys suck.
I'm glad you
It's
brought
half of
Call
my
of
teammates all the time, so it's
yeah.
okay.
Like I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought Call of Duty and the Madden games or sports games in general, because do you think the fact that every year they give you a new version, a new of the whatever the previous game you were playing, like that kind of was the reason why these games have just kind of gone down in popularity, because nobody wants to buy the same game every year and then just for like a slightly different change to it. Is that kind of like how you feel
Well,
about
with the
it?
sport ones, with Call of Duty, yes.
Yeah.
Unless they have like a new campaign or something like that, which you can play, which makes a big difference. But with like Madden or FIFA, like there's new players. That's a big thing, especially Madden, because they don't update the players. So if you're gonna play like if I try to play like Madden 2000, it's or like 2020, it's gonna be way different team players. The teams are just gonna be different. So people buy a new one because now like this player's in this team, and you have all the
Yeah.
rookies, and these people are retired, and then like this player is good now, where he wasn't good in the previous version and stuff like that. So So that's kind of how though the sports games kind of keep along, or even the UFC, because the fighters change every year too.
Yeah, I think
That
I
makes
heard
sense.
that the fact that if a player gets hurt in the game, they will update it. So it's like, oh, he's also hurt. So all of a sudden, like that player is no longer like
Someday,
a
yeah,
good one.
it depends on which version or like which game play. Kind of like whether you play uh like battle royale in the FPS, like battle royale, or if you play like ranked versus non-ranked or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, I think that's one thing
Nice.
in general that I'm not enjoying from some of these newer games, that now a lot of them are attached to like online servers. Like we
Oh
don't
yeah,
always need online servers, right? Let's start talking
No.
about some of the stuff we fucking hate.
No. This is what I alluded to in the beginning of the reason why I
Yeah.
didn't play the downloadable content for fucking Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Not only do I have to fucking pay the $40 to like buy the game, which is like, okay, I was totally ready, like had my credit card, uploaded the game with the
you
latest
counted
whatever
your
version of it,
pennies.
and it fucking reminded me. And the same thing happened to me with Diablo, which is fucking, I'm pissed about it. I needed to be
Yeah.
online
Diablo.
to fucking play the game.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I don't want, why the fuck do I need to play online? Like, why do I need to give Xbox additional $10 so that I can be able to play this game? Like, somebody needs to give them a lawsuit, because there's no reason why somebody could buy me a copy of Diablo, and then all of a sudden I have to still spend money
Can't play
because
it.
maybe I don't, maybe if you're like a 10-year-old kid and your parents aren't really paying for that, now all of a sudden
Why
you
are you
gotta
playing Diablo as a 10-year-old kid?
That's
Sorry.
what I'm
Why?
saying. Like now you gotta beg them for money so that you can play this game. Otherwise, it's just a brick. Like you can't
Yeah.
even fucking
Mhm.
play it at all. So I don't fucking get it. So it really like pissed me off, because again, I could have came in today and said like, hey, I played the downloadable content's really great. But no, because I fucking refuse to pay it, because I'm not gonna beat it in a month. It's gonna take me like 3 months. So that's $30 that they fucking would have gotten from me. So I'm kind of upset about that.
No, well, I mean,
I have
that's
Game Pass
exactly what.
Ultimate, so I won't say.
well, no, I do too, Raul. But I'm saying like it sucks. Like yeah, like Diablo was the last one that I played that I did not understand why I needed to be like be attached to a server. I'm like, why can't I just play the campaign mode? And I think what really irks me is once you're investing so many hours, like Elden Ring, I had like almost like maybe 200 hours in that game. But at one point, because there's people playing PvP and they're they have to like buff or nerf different like weapons and things, and I hate it because I'm not playing with that like vision in mind, and I'm not creating my build around like what's gonna beat other players, right? I'm worried about like my own ass with these dragons and these freaking 3-headed monsters, and it sucks. Like
Ramon, and I remember when we played Elden Ring, you did not have to have online service to play it, because I remember that was part of the appeal, that if you didn't have the online service, you wouldn't get all these like ghosts and like people to write you messages. So obviously you wanted to be online, because then all of a sudden you could see a lot more to the world. But like this time when I tried doing the downloadable content, it was a requirement, and that fucking pissed me off about it. Cause I'm like, I don't. Now that we're talking about it, I don't remember it being like a must to play Elden Ring. I think you could have played it without having the online version.
No, but they would nerf or buff like certain things, and that was annoying too, because you would. I mean, not saying that where we live in the world of like now we have TikTok and social media telling certain people what builds they should go with, where to find the most powerful like katana and all this stuff. And I mean, sometimes you got to do that because you just want to get the coolest shit right away and not spend hours and hours like roaming around. So I just remember like getting one katana or something in particular, and I wanted it for a specific like power that it had, and I had all the things to match it, and I had this beautiful build. And then because of PvP, then they changed some of those things, and then it wasn't as powerful, and then I was kind of getting punished as a single player trying to play my game because of what people in PvP are doing. And I'm like, that's not so. Yeah, you didn't need online to play the game, but you were being affected by the like servers and what other people were doing. And it's it's just kind of, I mean, and I get it, because in a different world it is kind of fun. Like if you're an avid Diablo player and you love Diablo, you probably want some of those changes, right? You want like your class or your weapon, like whatever you're playing with, to sometimes get get buffed, and to things become stronger, or something just sucks so bad that they change it. Like I love patches. I love that sometimes patches just solve problems quicker.
Yeah.
But I think for like battle royales, like all these other like one person shooters, like that's great. But for these other games that I want to play the campaign and that's it, I just it's almost an interruption for me. I'm like, whatever.
Well, I feel like in Apex, like we're constantly going back to it, and then I find out like characters do different things, and I'm like, what? Like, why all of a sudden, like I like the fact that Mercy, like there's whatever they added to her. I remember like it did sort of make her better, right? Like you can you can pick yourself up. Is that the new
Lifeline? You're still
Lifeline?
thinking
Yeah.
Overwatch.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Overwatch.
Yeah. But it's the same thing too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and that like there was a time where I was like that with Apex and Overwatch as well, or actually more Apex. But it's just week by week on a daily, I would be watching YouTube videos. I'd be kind of following these like streamers and really be into like the patch notes, the changes. And I felt like every time I played, I was always prepared. Now I don't care, like just because I don't have the time to play it as much, but it kind of throws you off a little bit too when you have a game and you play it for a little while and you just feel so good, and then you log in next season and it's just completely ass, and your character can suck now, or it's just not as effective. And I get it. Like I guess that's just the way gaming is now for a lot of these types of games. But the online server, the monetization just sucks.
What multiplayer games are you playing, Sylvia, if any?
Well, so here's the whole thing. Before this whole podcast that we're doing right now, I actually went in to figure out how much I paid for my skins.
for which game?
And I want to bring that up because I'm very shocked by it.
In general, for like all the games
so
you own?
Nope, this is just Valorant. So I have more than one account. I'll just start off with that. But there's about 17 guns that you have in Valo that you buy skins for. And I have about 3 or 4 skins per gun. Not for all of my accounts, but for one of them mainly. But overall, it comes out to be like 3 or 4, sometimes 5.
Can I say that I never understand why like a weapon needs a skin? Like I don't know.
Skins get wins.
That's
all it is.
But it was gaming chairs.
But for a weapon, though, it's just like I don't like. Apex always tries to like modify. Like I'm like, dude,
you got really cool sounds from it. You get really cool finishers. You look cool with your skinned gun, I guess.
I just don't really like. I guess if I pick it up and I'm like, oh, this looks different.
Sometimes it helps you in the game because you'll drop it and then someone wants to pick it up because they want that skin, and then you can get them.
Yeah,
just for that reason too. It makes sense. Anyways,
maybe you know what? I'm not too familiar with Valorant. Like I've seen gameplays of it, so maybe I do remember the art style being a little bit different. Maybe that's why. Maybe it makes sense why like a skin would, because if it's sort of like Fortnite, then I could see why it would be like it really impactful.
No, it's first person, right?
Yeah,
first person.
Yeah, so it's like, anyways, how much money? Because
would you like to guess?
I don't want to guess.
No, because I almost cried. No, because I almost cried when I tried adding the mind up and I gave up. So
is it under 1,000?
No, it's not under 1,000. There's no way it's under 1,000.
So it's like 3 or 4 guns per, or 3 or 4 skins per gun. There's some that have more. Some of them have like 5 or 6 skins, just because like the Phantom everybody uses. So that's the one I think I have the most skins on.
I'm gonna look up Valorant to see what it looks like today. Well, how much is it? Yeah,
she's building suspense. Or she's crying inside.
Both. 1,300.
Oh,
that's not bad.
So it's not bad, but the ones that I'm not counting are the ones that I was gifted from other people as well.
Okay.
I mean,
because I know for a fact I have around like 200-ish that was gifted to me. So
I mean, for one
what's
game,
the time period though? Because I'm sure it wasn't all like I spent it all in 2 months.
So I didn't have skins for the first year that I played it. The second year I started getting it, so I want to say in the span of like a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay. Damn. Yeah. Okay, that's not bad.
No, it's bad. Let's just be
I'm just trying to minimize. I'm just trying to minimize mine. I'm not.
It's about like 80 to 100 a month. People spend that type of money.
Like in Brawl Stars, yesterday I spent $2.99 because the character I was using to try to rank up, they cap out at like level 11. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll spend $2.99. It'll give me what I need to like cap them out at level 11. And then I'm more of a equal playing ground, when I'm playing against these people. But like, imagine if like I came back a year and a half and I'm like, I spent $1,000 on Brawl Stars. Yeah. You guys would fucking like be looking at me like, why would you have spent that much?
But listen, I play it enough to where I'm using these skins all the time, right? So it makes sense.
Like in Apex, like I have my favorites, but like I'm not swapping them. Like once I get my favorite, like that's the one I'm sticking with.
No, because like what if I'm having like a, and even in your skins you can change colors within your skin. So it's not like I'll have this, right? And then I can make it white, I can make it black, I can make it green, I can make it red.
So when you play shooters, are you playing like PC but with a actual game control, or are you actually using the mouse?
No, and I was gonna bring this up. Raul
Okay.
never use my controller afterwards. I play inverted already on
Oh.
controller.
Inverted. Yeah, I'm inverted all the way.
So, and on Halo, everyone hated my controller because I did green thumb inverted, and I play with my thing like this, like I do the little grip thing. So never take my controller after me. But if it's a PC game, I prefer just my keyboard and mouse.
So
Yeah.
like the only reason why I bring that up is because you know, like, so I sort of want to get a taste of like your like how good of a gamer you are, and like the only one that I can think of that we could get together is probably Apex, because I know PC talks to Xbox. Like we could probably do like a cross
cosplay.
currently. So we should try to do that. Just get together and do that. Because I want to see if like
Overwatch.
does Overwatch allow that too?
Yeah, I'll check.
Okay.
Yeah, Overwatch
All
is
your-
cosplay.
Look,
Pretty
all
much
you're
any
gonna hear
Xbox game.
I just want to see your like again just
with
get
Overwatch,
out.
all you're going to hear is me not understanding what to do, not knowing
Oh.
where I'm meant to go, and
There's
then me just
4 of
going, if
us.
you guys do one more thing, and then just silence for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And then Apex would
You
be
can
like,
feel me
fuck
seething.
this game. Apex would be a terrible experience anyways, because Apex is just
You know, I
like
do
the
wanna-
worst of the worst. Not good.
If Valorant came to like Xbox, which I don't know if it is going to anytime soon, but like I'm always down for a shooter. Like shooters to me come very naturally. There's not one that I can say like, oh, I'm not good at this one. It's just like it's naturally to me. You give me a
I
gun.
can say I'm not
and
good
I
at
can't-
Apex.
Yeah. So
No
But
one's
I
good
never
at
play
Apex. I'm
Apex.
kidding.
No,
You
yeah,
never
no one's good at
played, yeah.
Apex. Yeah.
No one's good at Apex. You could only do well and be
Mm-mm.
better than someone else, but yeah. No.
yeah, some people are just
No,
crazy.
and see, for me, like the money thing, I didn't even try to add up my skins, because between Fortnite, which is the most obsessive, and I've justified it enough, I make my own fucking grown ass money. I can do whatever I want.
Mhm.
No judgment.
Exactly.
No
right?
judgment, yeah.
No judgment. But it's like Fortnite, then Overwatch, and then Apex. I did put quite a bit of money in it because, again, even if I wasn't playing it, well, at the time I was playing the most. But it's if I love something for that time, and it's those types of games,
It's
like
worth it.
yeah, it's worth
If
it.
you
Like,
love it,
Mhm.
but yeah.
set it free. Or what do
Yeah.
they say?
No, hey, it's like makeup, okay? I'll pay $80 for like a foundation or something, and I'll use it up within like what 3-4 months. But it made me happy for the time I got to use it.
Right? Exactly.
So I'm gonna say something right now. I would 100% support this whole idea of like buying skins and grabbing them if there was a marketplace where you could sell them. Like if it was like if you could, like for example, Ramon, you were talking how you had the Blade skin. If like you had to get Blade within the first month of whatever it came out, and then if you didn't get it, you missed out. And then 5 years later, somebody's looking for that Blade skin. If I could put it in a market and somebody could offer me money to like take it away from me because maybe
You're
I
just
don't
getting
use
into
it.
stocks with skins.
But I'm saying like I want that. I want an economy, because the moment there's an economy to it, and there's like
NFTs.
I can justify saying like my wife like, hey, I'm gonna spend this because later on it's gonna be more valuable, and like just like I think they need to be more open to that.
I mean, 100. When you told me that idea before, I was all for it. Right? There's people that sell their accounts because they have like lots of skins and all that stuff. Which people have asked me before, like if I would consider selling my Fortnite like account. I don't think I would, because as long as Fortnite is still active, like it's a game that I'm still gonna revisit. Like I have people that play it and I love it. But the one thing why Fortnite, it's so difficult to not spend money sometimes. Like right now, I'm not putting like hardly any money, though I do subscribe to the little membership just because.
So I do subscribe, buy skins, buy anything that comes up.
No, but the main reason why is because since they started doing like real collaborations, and now I could play as freaking like Naruto, I could play as like Ninja Turtles, I could play as Rick and Morty. That changed, like that just changed everything for me, because even though the game can suck to a certain level, like if you're playing build mode, or just, like the other last night when I was playing, it was just a bunch of sweats on, so it's just. Sometimes it sucks, but it's just nothing beats the feeling of like playing as your actual like Naruto skin and looking at him and seeing him like shoot an AR and freaking like murk people left and right. And it's just to me,
that's funny.
And to me, it's just stuck to be like one of my favorite games. And I don't care that I spent the money, because to me that's been like the collectibles behind you, Carlos, and obviously to my other side of this room too. Like the same way that I buy those
Ramon,
collectibles.
we use our skins. What does he do with those?
It's
What do you mean?
nothing. I mean, we don't know what he does with them, but
You're right. You're right. You're so right.
People come to my house and I'm like, hey, you want to see something cool?
I'll take you up to my room.
I think up to my room upstairs. No, Robert, I was just thinking that I think that today I saw somebody put Gojo in Elden Ring, like as a mod, and I thought that was really cool. It's like just seeing and like I'm sure Gojo's in Fortnite.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like they have Gojo and they have. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Since that all started, like you just and there's no other game that's doing it quite like it, right? Because Apex with the skins, they were doing like kind of close to what it was, like when they did My Hero Academia, but not really. Overwatch, same thing too. They did like the One Punch Man, where like freaking. Anyways, so a bunch of characters.
Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop, but at the same time, nobody is actually those characters. They're just kind of dressed like them. And again, you can never get me off Fortnite for that reason because I just love that about it. Yes, it sucks because I even started to add them up, and then it was real quick before I was like, nope, I'm just gonna feel shitty because I could have bought a car, I could have bought who knows what. And I'm not saying that it's like over 10 grand, but I know it's like in the thousands and multiple thousands. And then again, it's just it was what I needed at a point in my life, and it just so happens to trickle out every once in a while. And I still buy a couple here and there. It's no shame in it.
That was your therapy. It's okay.
It was my therapy. Yeah, it's there. It's pretty. I stare at them. It's all.
And
fun.
They don't want you to. They don't want you to know how much you wasted. Like they don't want you to be thinking about that.
No.
I don't know, man. I honestly feel a little bit like. I'm jealous that there's not a game in my life that has come out in the last years where I could say, like, with a passion, like, I'm great at this game. This game brings me so much happiness. I'm going to spend money to it. Because I think if, like, in another world, if I tried Fortnite multiple times and it's just not, it's not for me. Apex, I love it, but again, it's just like I have already kind of sort of falling out of love with it. Overwatch, I told you guys my concerns with it. So it's like, I do wish there was a brand new game, and maybe once Valorant comes to like Xbox, maybe I'll find like, oh my god, this is great, and maybe this.
Now he's gonna start buying all those skins, and then
right?
we can give him shit for that.
Like
World of Warcraft.
Well, this is how bad I am sometimes too, though. My brother and my cousins play League of Legends, right? And I started playing...
I didn't count those skins in.
Oh my god!
I started playing League of Legends with them, and again, I don't love League of Legends, but I enjoy playing it.
I love the concept of those games.
But
it's
part of the problem is
though.
It's not even that. Like, right? Even in the mode that we play, when it's me and my other cousin playing with them. It's called ARAMs, right? And it's just like your character you can select is on random, and out of like 100 over 150 characters, to be getting like one in random kind of sucks because you never really truly get to master these people. So that's where I'm stuck with the game. But again, give me a couple drinks in me, and I'm staring at the skins in the shop, and I'm like, I don't even know who this character is, but oh damn, I want it.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. And then maybe then I bought it, like I bought a skin in like League of Legends maybe once, but then I did play that character like in the other modes for a while, and then I got good at her, and the next thing you know, I didn't feel bad anymore, and I was like, whatever, it's what it is.
And the show is so good.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm still surprised me and you haven't played one of those games, Ramon, because I love those kind of games like Warhammer, Halo Wars. Like I just love these games where you can just like click and battle your opponents.
Dude, I played so much like Age of Empire, Warhammer, Command and Conquer, Crusaders, all those games. Like, dude, that those games got me through deployment.
That's awesome.
I think like depression.
Same thing. No, deployment, depression.
Deployment.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know. Oh my god.
Raul fought for us.
I went to Afghanistan in 0809. So I had my laptop and I played a ton of Civilization and Age of Empires. Warhammer 40,000. I played a ton of that too.
You should have some of your medals in the background, Raul.
Yeah, you should.
Well, I have that thing.
What is that thing?
Dad, a son's first hero.
Are you talking about that?
I love that.
Gift.
I thought you were talking about the paddle butt thingy in the back.
My fraternity stuff.
And a fraternity.
Call it what you want. No, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Even games like what we used to call not World of Warcraft, but freaking StarCraft. I used to love games like that even before these.
Yeah, that's what
StarCraft
Warhammer is.
And I spent so much on purpose. Yeah, but I mean, it's difficult sometimes to play those now. I mean, I would love like a new version that I could play right now, but it would would cost me to put more time into it and then get obsessed with it, and that's always my issues with it. I just become obsessive for a little bit.
Dude, some people are so good at those games sometimes. Like I remember I bought Halo Wars 2 for like my friends, and I gave him each a copy, and then one of them was so good that it was 2 against him, and we couldn't beat him. And it's just like, how is
it Tony?
Like, no, it was Omar, and it was so frustrating that he did like,
Omar.
What is it?
Jose and George's Omar?
Yeah, him. He likes to play Halo Wars, and it was just this idea that like it was just like, again, he didn't have an advantage. It was just like 2 against 1, normal settings, and it's just like we couldn't beat him, and it's just like some people will really smoke you in those games. Like they're just able to manage supplies a lot better than you are.
Yeah.
When I play with people that are really good at games, I always make them either put their sensitivity really high or really low. Or play with their left hand.
Or play with the left hand.
Yeah. All right, wait. So there's another game trilogy that I want to highlight. Sorry, I got this list, so I have to bring it up randomly. But did any of you play Dead Space at all?
No.
Nope.
Oh my god. Okay, so Dead Space, freaking
awesome.
I
know of it, and I've seen people play it.
Like I don't love horror games because they fucking freak the hell out of me. But Dead Space
Resident Evils,
Dead Space 1, the first one is truly a very gory, horrific horror game in space, and I fucking love it. I think the character himself is fucking gorgeous. I think he might be in Fortnite, Ramon. If you didn't buy that skin, you should have bought it.
I know I have it. Yeah. It was it's actually free, I think.
Yeah, and then the sequels after that are even like they become, I guess, less scariness, more action packs. That seems to be like what happens when BioWare owns a game. Like instead of like sticking to the original, they'll just make it more action packed as it keeps going. Where I think the third one just became Gears of War but in space. But yeah, I think Dead Space games are really awesome. Especially the first one, and I know they just remade the first one. And if you haven't played it and you do love to sort of like sit at night playing a game and all of a sudden get completely freaked out by the sound of things, like what is that sound? Like what did I just hear? I highly recommend Dead Space. That's another franchise that I really, really love. And instead of them making like a remake of it, like an HD remake of it, I wish they would have just like gone with the franchise in a different way. Like, hey, this is a new character or just completely new game, because I do want to get back into that world one day.
Man, you just made me think about how much I love beating like story mode games that you just love so much. Because again, you obviously play more games in general, but it's just one of those things that when you have a game like, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom was the last one that I beat, and that was being a continuation of like Breath of the Wild. So when I beat Tears of the Kingdom, like I almost cried. Like I remember I canceled on some friends that I was supposed to go hang out with. It was maybe a little bit sick, but it was definitely my excuse. I was sick, and I knew I had like maybe 8 more hours of this game to go. And you know, and again, in a game that's open world and doesn't really matter, but I knew where I was at and where I wanted to go kill Ganondorf, and I was gonna do it. And then literally, for like, especially these newer games are so beautiful, for like playing that whole journey, getting to the point, and then the way that they finished that game, and again without spoilers, I just remember being like, again, wasn't the hardest just because I had been playing so much already that, you know, like a couple of my like outfits and stuff and my weapons were like all good. But by the time I finished it, when it went into like the transformation of the fight, you know how the fights always have multiple rounds, like the boss fights always have multiple rounds.
Yeah.
When it got to like the third form and the craziest form, like I just remember being like, this is not hard at all. Like I'm well equipped, but I just loved being in the moment. I love playing it. And when I finally beat him, and just like that, then like visual, like the what is it called? The shot, like the, oh my God, it's like the freaking, anyways, everything that happens afterwards, like I just couldn't stop clenching my remote. And there was a scene where like, again, like Link is falling, Zelda are falling, and you have to just press A out of nowhere. You just have to press A. And I was holding on to the button. The button like prompt was gone already. You already like kind of caught her hand, and I already am like stuck to the button because I was just so into it. And again, nothing beats that like ever.
And you're talking about Breath of the Wild, not the newest one?
No, Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom.
The new one. Yeah.
See, and that's the one that I kind of feel like, cause I beat Breath of the Wild, and I remember for that one, I felt like the ending was like they rushed it and like they didn't really have that impact.
It was part
ending
one
that I wanted.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only reason why I do want to play the Tears of the Kingdom one, because I'm like, oh, I really like almost want to see the true ending, because obviously Ganondorf didn't really make an appearance in the first one, like how I know him. So that's why I really do want to play the second one, because I'm like, man, I kind of missed out on the fact that like I didn't get to beat his ass like I have in the past.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's one of those things like you might still get to the end and be like, oh man, it's not as crazy as you thought, but it's just once you have like because again, like you said, the first one just felt like unfinished and it was for a
Yeah.
reason. But once you finish like Tears of the Kingdom, then you just your life is just complete for that moment. You're like, wow, that was great, love it. And yeah, like I mean, those are still my one games that I do love to play for that reason. But yeah, like I wish I played more and I had more time because like you recommend all these games to me and I have some hard copies of some other games, and I still don't play them. Like Hellblade was one of the like top rated like Xbox games,
Yeah.
with like kind of the whole Nordic hearing voices and all that stuff. Never played it. It's still there. What is that? Star Wars: The Fallen Order.
Oh, the
I have that
Battlefront.
one
No, not
there.
I
Battlefront.
Yeah,
No,
wanted
no,
to
the other
play
one.
those, but I
Another
never
one.
do it.
Yeah.
Is it in Fallen Order? I think
I
it's
think
Fallen
it,
Order.
yeah,
The
yeah,
one that has
Fallen
the
Order.
guy from Titanfall 2. Like it's there. Like I have so many
Yeah.
Guardians
You
of the
have Titanfall
Galaxy.
too?
I do. I have the hard copy next to me, still
I,
wrapped.
I mean,
Cyberpunk right
yeah,
there,
Mm.
I
like
mean, I think
So
the servers don't work for the multiplayer, but I think you can play the campaign on it.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's just those games that I would eventually play for the campaign, but it's just I haven't. But yeah, when you talk about these trilogies, I kind of
Because
do
you're
wish
addicted to
I
the
spent more of that time.
because you
Yeah,
have that problem that I have. It's like once you get addicted to like the online, the multiplayer, the quick matches, it's like you don't
yeah,
really find the time to. So it's like you have to almost tell yourself like, like Resident Evil Village. The reason why I was able to beat that is I knew it was 10 hours, but had it been 20, 30, like I would have struggled. I would have been like, like why am I wasting my time? Like I just want to be done with this. Guardians of the Galaxy. I know that was a game that I played like
still there.
I'm like this took way too long and it was not worth the journey at all, and I kind of regret how much time I put in that game to
And
like try
that's
to
why I
finish
didn't play
it.
it because of you. Because sometimes it goes that way too. They're like, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, any other games you guys want to highlight or anything?
There's one that I haven't been able to stop playing, and it was free this past weekend. And my friend had DM'd me, and he was like, it's free. Can you just like play it, try it out?"
Yeah.
We played for 8 hours that one day, I'm pretty sure. And
What
then
was
the next
it?
day, I immediately DM'd him like, "Game? Question mark? Like we need to play." And I never thought that I'd like it. It is a strategy game, and I wrote it down because I'm Stellaris. So it was free
Solaris?
from Friday to I think it was Sunday, and it's kind of like Civ is, or I don't know if you guys have heard of what Manor Lord is, but it is like or even SimCity. Basically, it's kind of
Yeah.
like a strategy building game where you're kind of making your planet. It's based on a galaxy, so you're in a galaxy
Yeah.
and you're trying to get more territory. You find planets that you can either habitate, planets that you can't, and you have to do something to kind of make them more habitable, or you can find planets within like your little territory that have other people there and you try and kind of take over. And there's not just humans, there's aliens, there's like
Is
animals.
this a multiplayer game?
Yep, it can be. Yep. So you can play it by yourself, you can do co-op, or you can do multiplayer. So we did multiplayer, and with the multiplayer game or the version of it, it's you can be on separate ends of the galaxy. You have no idea where your friend is, and you kind of just keep exploring around the galaxy, take over other colonies, other territories, and then there's intergalactic wars too, so other people from other galaxies can come and attack you. I could not stop playing. And there's a bunch of prompts. So I know a lot of times with those games, it's like you start building and you continue building, and it's just like you build and that's pretty much it. There are so many prompts, people attacking you, just like things popping up. There's new presidents in your planet, depending on what kind of democracy you chose. There's so many things going on that it's like hard to almost keep track of it, but it's fun because it keeps putting more prompts in your way.
Yeah.
It sounded like you were describing that other game that we were talking about, the Starship Troopers looking one.
Helldivers?
Helldivers. It sounded like you were describing Helldivers. But
Maybe.
what? No, it's not Helldivers. But
No, it is Stellaris, but
yeah, like what console can we play that in? Like, is it just a PC game or is it like
It's on
available
Steam.
for?
it is on
It's on-
Steam.
It's
Yeah.
on Steam. I have a Steam account. Yeah.
Dude, I honestly, after the Xbox, I think I might just go PC instead of getting
Do PC.
another console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of the way to go, though. Like, I mean, yeah, in general, because now that you
But I
know
do-
that Xbox is going to be doing the games like
But I
program that they're doing.
I like playing on my 75-inch TV.
I
You
mean,
can connect
yeah,
your
that's
PC
true.
to it.
I'm sure that's like something that's frowned upon.
See, that's another thing too. Like the whole mouse and keyboard thing. Like even for
Yeah.
Fortnite and stuff like that, people were like, "Hey, you should still connect your mouse and keyboard to your Xbox." Nope, because for me, like I play freaking my controllers with paddles, and if I don't have, wait, I'm missing a paddle. You see that? Anyways, if I don't play with paddles, like to me, it's just like that's my whole muscle memory
No,
right there. But it's like I don't know, like a PC is just. Every time that
because
people told me just buy your own PC, I'm like, I just wouldn't use it other than gaming, and to me, it just would not be
but
enough of an investment.
but even
Maybe
like on our Discord, Karina, I believe in the past she's talked about how like she does PC, but she plays with a
this controller.
control. And I
Yeah.
think like our friend Tony, same thing. Like he'll play PC, but he'll play with a control. This is like I don't
Yeah,
know,
my
man.
Xbox
My
immediately
sister too
connects to my
sometimes.
PC. So whatever I do with my Xbox, it's immediately on
Oh,
my PC as well.
Oh,
So I can
yeah,
flip games as much as I want between the two. If I'm on my Xbox account on my PC, I can do everything that I was doing on my Xbox.
yeah.
But
nice.
again, I built my PC, so I think it also depends on kind of how you get everything set up in your own space. But I love it. I have 2 monitors. I got everything I could
Yeah.
possibly need. I can play with my controller if I wanted to, and it
Nice.
is on PS4.
No,
Oh,
I mean, I mean, I definitely miss playing with you guys, and I know we haven't done so since probably like My Hero Academia. But like, yeah, I feel like there needs to be a game to unite all of us together, so it's just like we can have some fun together. Even that Marvel one that's supposed to be like a Overwatch sort of like rip off. Like, I'm kind
Oh
of curious
yeah,
about that
the
one.
one that's coming out with Iron Man and
but
Yeah,
by the time it comes out, everybody's already played it except for us, like always. And then it's like it won't be as fun. So we'll see.
yeah, everybody will be like kept like Doctor Strange and whatever is their favorite.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. Did you
And
guys ever? No, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say like so you're talking about that game you're talking about. I just have one game that I wanted to mention because I
Yeah,
remember playing this game on NES like forever ago, early '90s. It was called Populous, right?
yeah, I
Mhm.
love
And
Populous.
yeah, and it was that whole idea of like
Yeah.
you're God, and you have like this wide
Yeah,
terrain, and you're making two armies fight, but then you control like
the
the
knights.
sort
Yeah,
of the like you control not only like the characters sorta, it's more controlling like the landscape, and you can create like hills, you can create like wells, you can
Mhm.
ultimately if you're like your team or your army is like winning enough, then you can do like catastrophic events. So you go anywhere from like earthquakes to volcanoes, and then even like Armageddon, where everybody just like consolidates into one person and then they all just fight like the last ones
Mm.
1v1. And the only reason why I want to bring up that game is because like man, I was playing that as like freaking 6 year old something like that. And
yeah. That's
to think of how dark that is to like have a video game where you're telling the kid, here you go, you're God, kill people, flood
look at
up.
this game.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's just like, oh man, maybe that did have a lot of effect on the games that I love to play because I think I just love the dark stuff so much more. The stuff that just has a little bit of like death and grim and kind
yeah.
of these like alternate worlds, but. I don't know. That was just one game that's always stuck for me. No matter how much older I got in, I've always like think back to that game. I don't know if I would play it. Like I think I played it last time I found my old NES, but it's outside of that. Like I don't know. It stuck with me. So it's just a honorable mention of like a game that forever and ever will live in my mind. That's
Oh,
Populous.
nice. Yeah. So there's so many games that I sold and I regret because obviously it would have been.
Forsaken.
Mhm.
Remember
Yeah,
Forsaken, Carlos? The one
I
where you do
do.
like the little mopeds and you like
Yeah, that one's so
yeah
fast.
yeah. Imagine
What
that
about
now.
Twisted
Because
Metal?
Twisted
I
Metal.
like car. Back in the day, like I used to always love the games where like you had a car and the car would shoot like weapons and like you had to like destroy the
Like
other
Twisted
cars.
Metal?
Like Twisted. Well,
Nah.
Twisted Metal was PlayStation. We played the other one, which I don't remember the name of the franchise, but there was two of them.
But also Battle Tanks. Battle Tanks, one of the
Battle
most
Tanks, hell
amazing
yeah!
Oh
freaking games.
yeah, dude, we
Battle
used to
Tanks was
play
a
that
good
a
one.
lot back in the day
Yes.
on
I just
Xbox.
Yeah.
love the little one that could do all these
Yeah,
like side
Yeah.
flips.
See, it's just
um,
it's those games that sometimes again you just now don't
Mhm.
even think about them like that. But I mean, me and my brother and my sister too will randomly be like, "Oh, do you remember Battle Tanks?" Like, holy crap, like Battle Tanks. And
yeah.
I don't know, you gotta love
And that
that
one
stuff.
could probably come back today and like succeed, which I don't understand why, because it's a simple idea, you know.
I don't know.
do,
Um,
do do you know what I hate now though?
mm,
That's becoming more and more with video games is that there's so few games that you can do locally, like either co-op or multiplayer locally, because like
Mhm.
I try to find games to play with my son, and we can't really play anything because like we have to be in separate Xboxes in order to play together.
It's
Try It Takes Two. That was a fun game.
Yeah, I love that game.
Yeah. But there's
Rock's
like
making a movie
not many.
out of that.
Yeah, so we play. Yeah, we play like Gang Beasts. We play like Fortnite sometimes because it's one of the few where you can do like split screen stuff like that. So it's
Fred and Bread. I think Fred and Bread you can do split screen as well. There's two penguins. It's a cute game.
That's cute. Yeah.
You're tied together as penguins.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, but same like you wrote, like I hated when they started doing that. Like they started taking away split screen, and they're like, "Oh, you know, your game will perform better if you don't have that." And it's just all bullshit because they want you to buy your own console so that your friends playing from like a different.
Or even like, Call of Duty. Like we played a ton of that. Like in gun game and random other things. Yeah, that's how like in one Xbox.
Your friends would come over to your house because you guys wanted to like play together, and like I don't know, that experience kind of did sort of go away. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, but I mean, as adults, like, how often are we gonna go hang out with each other?
No, I know, but like you know, like your younger generation,
for kids.
What do you mean? I do it every day. My friends come over, we all get on the consoles.
I don't know, man.
What do you mean?
You're striking me as the stay in my house.
They'll bring their Xboxes
and never leave the house.
So we can play in separate TVs in the same room.
I have LAN parties with my brother and my cousins when it's like, you know, it's not so often, but it's like I have a cousin who lives in Florida, and when he comes and visits, he loves to freaking have like a gaming night in my house. And literally, I already have like 2 gaming like setups and stuff. And then one of them, my brother will usually bring his PC. That ass always carries his PC with his car into my house, and then usually someone else either brings
like
another Xbox or another PC. Yeah, like just a Switch, but you know, just like got a bear hug it. And it is great though, and it's like one thing that again you're never gonna like be tired of. Like I just love that. I mean, you know, we'll make a pizza, obviously we'll do some other extracurricular adult activities, and then absolutely all sit around each other in the same room and just freaking play. And even though we're playing a game like Fortnite or something like that, it's still just fun to have them next to each other and just kind of, you know, I don't know. So I guess that is something that not having games that give you the split screen or like side scrollers like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, Raul. That'd be a fun one for him.
We passed it already.
Okay, good. 2 hour game, times. Easy. Yeah, there you go. Easy game.
You paid for the monthly battle pass, right? The ultimate battle pass on Xbox. Okay, baller, man. That's where all your money's going.
Same.
Dude, it's cheaper than buying games all the time. I pay $15. Or 17.
So many games are free. Yeah. World was free on there.
Yes,
dude. That's the only reason why. Because like I don't have to buy Madden anymore. I don't have to buy FIFA anymore.
Because it's all part of it. I'm over here like saving pennies.
No. Well, it was the same thing too. And I don't play racing games, but it's like Forza 5 had a Hot Wheels like little. Like,
I told you about that one.
And then freaking Game Pass had it for free. And I'm just I think they still had to pay for the Hot Wheels part of it, but still like that was great because then I got on there. I paid for like the little extra few dollars for the Hot Wheels extension, and then all the next thing you know, I got my like few hours worth of it, then I got bored on it and I just stopped it. But it is nice to sometimes like, you know, invest the $10-12 and then
get a lot of games.
And the new Call of Duty is going to be day one Game Pass.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And they have all the Fallout games on it too. They have all the Halo games on it as well. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get
a ton of Assassin's Creed too.
I'll need it. I'm committed to playing that Elden Ring, so I'm gonna have to get like Battle Pass. It's ultimate just for that.
I re-downloaded the game just so I could play it, and then I started playing, and I was like, oh, I forgot how like grindy this game is.
Which one, Elden Ring?
Yeah, Elden Ring.
No, that's why
I'm in the 20. I'm level 20 something.
What do you mean it's not grindy? All you do is grind to level up.
No. I forgot how grindy it is.
No, I know. But I say. But Carlos was saying that it wasn't grindy. I'm like, it is.
Oh, it's super grindy.
That's why I won't buy the DLC is for that reason, right? Because I already heard the complaints about it, that it's like extra hard, which makes sense because in a DLC for a game that's already hard, like that's what you want. Like why else would I want to pay more money if it wasn't going to be challenging? The thing for me, it's like, you know, challenging meets grinding and trying to get these levels up. And I'm just like, I don't know if this time I'll get it. Unless you guys play and you're like, absolutely must play.
See, like...
You know, but
I guess the part I disagree with you about Elden Ring is because it was an open world, you could go wherever you want. I never felt like I had to grind because if I was in an area where like I'm like I shouldn't fucking be here because I'm getting killed, I would just go another direction, and all of a sudden, like, oh, this is like a little more comfort. This is more like, I'm not getting my ass killed every 5 seconds. So then, like, it never felt like grinding because I was always progressing the story forward. I just knew there was things that I'm like, oh, I'll have to definitely come back to that because I'm not ready for it. Where like I consider grinding like, oh shit, like I have to spend 3 hours doing this to like level up to just move forward, and that's to me that's when it's like I consider grinding. So Elden Ring never felt grinding to me because it was just like, oh, I don't belong here, and the game doesn't lock you to a spot. It tells you like you can go wherever the hell you want. So it's just like, so I never felt like I was grinding.
The whole map feels like I don't belong there.
Yeah, the whole map. It's the same thing too.
The moment you get into Elden Ring, I didn't know you couldn't kill that boss, and I went straight for him.
Oh my god, I was watching videos about that.
Everybody. And it's just funny now that people are replaying it again because of the DLC. It is fun to see everyone go through the same experience.
But what about when you see the people that like beat bosses like not wearing armor, only with a stick, people do it in a dancing pad, like come on. Man.
That's all the Souls.
Oh yeah, the dancing pad.
Well, that's because that's all the Souls players, like all the ones that play like all the other games,
all
that
the
come
Dark
from this.
Souls.
Yeah.
Games,
and so the thing is, like a lot of these bosses are literally just the same movements in a pattern.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
what
like
it is.
once
it's
you
a
know
pattern movement.
But that's
and
again,
if you can
that's
time
a whole
the parry, then you're good.
But that's a whole different thing. If you want to do that. I'm like, I always just wanted to go in there like full on and just freaking swing my swords and shit and whatever goes. But
Leroy Jenkins. So you're talking like somebody that hasn't beat the game, so maybe that's why.
you know my story, but I'm only at the last one at the Elden Lord, and that was more because 200 hours later, I'm like, fuck this shit. I'll come back to it later.
Downloadable content, you have to beat the Lord of Blood, and which we did.
I beat him. Yeah.
So I'm like, and people are struggling with the Lord of Blood. I'm like, yeah, I struggle, but I beat his ass.
yeah. I mean, but that's how that game goes. Like I said, it's like you never know. Some people struggled with some people, some other people didn't, and it's just I don't know. I do love the game. I just
everyone.
Yeah. I just remember like that game again. You're just fucking in your horse and a dragon fucking comes out of it. It's a masterpiece, man. Like, I do want to go back in it because I do think Elden Ring's a masterpiece of the game.
Yeah, it's super cool, and I love how you can customize it, and then you could build your character however you want. It kind of reminds me of a solo leveling, and I love that. And that was another reason why I wanted to get into it. And then I in a way, I kind of want to start the game over, but I'm not going to reset all 20 levels. I've done 20 something.
Well, the last franchise that I wanted to highlight, and this will be quick, it's just the Arkham Knight franchise, which I don't know if you guys have played any of the Arkham games.
I've been wanting to, but like I feel like it's too late to start it.
Like, boo, all of you.
I mean,
dude, I feel like it's too late to start the Arkham series.
Dude, they're truly, again, I say that about all the ones that I just talked about. I think that's why I'm specifically mentioning them. But the Arkham games, the way they're built, the way the combat is, the way like everything about them, especially the second one and the third one, is just, I don't know, man. It's just they don't make games like that. Like people are trying to make a similar game to Arkham Knights or whatever the last one was called. Like they just can't make them. They obviously that Suicide Squad game sort of failed, but they weren't really going in that approach. But then there was the one with the Robins, and that also failed, and they were also trying to do that approach.
Gotham Knights.
Something about something about the Arkham games themselves, like the original ones, they're really great. So if you play them, you know what I'm talking about.
I was really looking forward to the Gotham Knights too. But then when they came out, I realized that they were only available in the series. I was like, it's pointless. And then I heard bad things about it, so then I kind of lost interest.
Yeah, they were made by like they have like a Montreal studio, Warner Brothers. I think that was made by like not Rocksteady. Rocksteady is normally the one that makes good games, even though they made Suicide Squad, and that one sucks a lot.
It looked cool.
It looked cool. I bet you it's not terrible.
But I think it's one of those other also online games too.
It's
that
an online
game.
Yeah.
So again,
same thing with Gotham Knights.
Nah, I'm just gonna keep playing Overwatch until we have a baby, and then I can't play anything else anymore. But no, I mean like that's what I'm saying.
You're gonna be surprised. You're gonna find yourself actually playing more than you normally would because the babies they only sleep, man. They can't do anything. You just put them in front of you.
Yeah, but those games I will create, if anything, it'll be like Zelda back on my Switch upstairs because I mean I just built a beautiful home in Tears of the Kingdom for Zelda, so it's like I need to go back to my home. I gotta decorate it. I gotta do all this stuff, you know. So there's things I have to do. And yes, perfect time to sit there and just run around, do nothing. Yeah. But no, yeah, I think it's just like, you know, like you were saying, Carlos. It's funny because you come with so many games, and then it's just gaming looks so different for everybody. But that's what I love for it. Like, I mean, love about it.
But I missed out on some great ones, man. It's like The Last of Us. Like, 'cause I don't own a PlayStation. Like, I feel like I've been missing out on some of the best
Spider-Man ones.
Yeah, so it fucking sucks to like not even be able to play those.
God of War,
yeah.
Shout out to Assassin's Creed and Red Dead Redemption. There we go.
Oh yeah,
can't say that.
I'm excited about the new Assassin's Creed, and I'm excited for the new Fable game that's coming out
Asian one, with the samurai and the ninja.
Did you guys at all play Fable back in the day? No, any of you? Okay.
Yeah, Fable's a good one. I liked it. Yeah.
Fable's also like the original, like, hey, you can be evil, you can be good game. Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah. And then the other type of games is all the music ones, like all the Guitar Hero we played back in the day together, and Rock Band, and then a small shout out to Michelle, because I played her in DDR a bunch, because I had the
nice.
And I had the game for PS2, I think. And then like and I would go to her house and we'd battle each other, and she just kept beating me.
Damn. My cousin Edgar was a beast at DDR, and we would go to like the arcades, and that man was like magic. And I at that point I think it was just getting popular, and I still couldn't believe like how they would just do it, and it's especially when, you know, they're holding the bars and they're just kind of like their feet are just moving.
Their legs only,
I'm just like, damn. And well, you know, and then since I mentioned my cousin Edgar, like if you guys want to like see some people playing some obscure games, he has a YouTube channel. It's called like Baka Koneko or something like that. Which again, if anyone really cared, just ask. But
is he on the Discord?
He's on the Discord, yes, Eddie Garu. And he
I was gonna go see Haikyuu with him.
Yeah, that guy. But if you go to his YouTube channel, they play the most random games, like all these Digimon games, like all these Pokemon games, like all this stuff. We didn't even talk about Pokemon, but it's like I sometimes love going in there and just seeing what they're playing, and then it's kind of hearing them out. And again, you're talking about different types of gamers. It's a collaborative of like a few friends in that channel, and it's just they just play so many different things for so many different reasons. And yeah, sometimes it's just enjoyable to watch people be like, "Oh, okay, cool. I never heard of this game. I'll watch you for like a minute." And I don't know, but yeah, it's fun. So many games.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was fun, man. I hope that if we do this again, we have more of a like we're only talking specifically about one game
or one genre.
One type.
Yeah. But I mean, this was fun because I mean, again, Ramon, we have been trying to do like a video game episode for like since like last year. Like I remember
since the beginning.
So Sylvia, now that we have you and you're like our top, gaming person in here,
wouldn't say that, but okay.
I'll say Carlos and his like trilogy. Like,
I know we're like all the basic games that everybody knows. He's like, did you know this one game from like 2 years, 3 years ago that no one talks about?
Cult of the Land.
At least all the ones that he brought up are all popular games. We just never
we don't play them. We just don't play them.
Yeah, they weren't like indie games. The Cult of the Lamb, that one's an indie more like
Which may be good news for you, Carlos. Bioshock, a new one might be coming out in 2026.
Yeah, nice. I think the creator might be tied to another studio. And Sylvia, it's hard for me to say like force you to go in your house and play Bioshock Infinite, but if I could, man.
It's okay. I don't leave my house anyway, so I might as well.
Well, didn't you have a Twitch account back in the day?
I did at one point, yes. I did.
I would 100% watch every second of you playing Bioshock Infinite. And I would be sending you like $5 every 30 minutes to reward you to keep going.
I double
to pay for my skins.
So. No skins there. That's the good part. Oh yeah, for your Valorant.
For my Valorant, yeah.
There you go. Okay. Mm-hmm. We support it. I feel like I'd watch some Infinite too, because I don't know.
Maybe try to reactivate it, and then
Yeah, I'd be down. I've been wanting to get back into it, so that'd be a good way to kind of ease into it as well.
We have a Kick account that once in a while our videos might show up on Kick, but there's no reason to really get into that right now.
Well, there you go. Let's maybe give Sylvia the Kick credentials and let her stream on Kick and just be like, we'll watch her there.
Yeah, there we go.
Represent.
Yeah, you might get the wrong kind of crowd, but
I won't look at the chat. I'm gonna leave that to you guys. I'll just do my own thing, and then
Yup.
All right, well that's it, man. I'll let you guys go, but this is fun. I can't wait to listen to this.
Are we not going to talk about Game of Thrones? No, I'm kidding.
No, there's no time, and I want to save I want to save it to actually like know where
Talk
she's
about
at.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Bye.
Uh huh.